All right, what's going on, everybody? DStyleBoxing here. Thanks to those joining me live, to those joining me on archive. Check this out. Check it out. This argument that numbers don't lie. I know what it's implying, and hey, in certain things, in certain aspects, even in certain sports, it makes sense. It does. But boxing is the last sport, one of the last sports where you can use numbers. What numbers? You know how many things are just wrong in boxing, right? Like we can't say the number of wins because why? Well, because boxing is subjective. And three idiots, okay, three old men that are being distracted by half naked ring girls, all right, are scoring the fight. What numbers? We can't go by the bun stats because old farts with clickers in their hand, okay, are clicking buttons trying to tell us who two athletes throwing, jabs and power punches to the head and the body. They want to tell us how many are thrown and how many are landed. And they never go back and fix these numbers. What do you mean the numbers don't lie? The numbers are inflated. What numbers? Number of champions? Well, yeah, we got more champions today than ever, and that number's going to start growing. They could say that number doesn't lie, but how's that relevant to when you're trying to talk up your favorite fighter? How's that relevant? Numbers don't lie. Numbers don't lie. What a retarded argument. Mayweather is the best. Numbers don't lie. That's your argument? That's it? Like that's your argument? The O doesn't lie. That's the argument. The 50 doesn't lie. The O doesn't lie. Numbers don't lie. He got hit less than anybody else in history. Blah, 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 blah. Numbers don't lie. Well, you know what? What about other numbers? Like number of title defenses? How about number of fights that you had? How about number of great fighters that you fought? How about, if we're talking about numbers, should we count the number of times you hurt your hand? Like, the numbers don't lie. You're right. The ratings are low. The numbers don't lie. The numbers are atrocious. Have you guys not seen the numbers? The numbers don't lie. He beat the most world champions ever in history. Numbers don't lie. How many of them were active world champions when he beat them? How many of them did he actually beat for the belt? Oh, no. Oh, no. It's anybody who's held a belt at some point in their career. What? Should we start counting the number of times? Okay, I have to facepalm myself with his arguments. Bunch of trash arguments. Hey, numbers don't lie. That's it. Put your hands in the air. It's over. End of discussion. What? You know what numbers don't lie? The amount of divisions we have, the amount of world champions that we have. Okay, the fact that we have a super champion, okay, and a regular champion in one of the major sanctioning bodies, that doesn't lie. Since we're talking about numbers, right? Show count. I mean, come on. Seriously. What a trash argument. What a stupid point. Now, if you say numbers don't lie and then you break down the numbers, then that's fine. Break down the numbers. I want to hear what numbers are you talking about? What numbers? I'll put the numbers. So we're just going to talk about your numbers? Just the numbers you want, right? All numbers, okay? Not all numbers presented to you are, factual, right? They're open to human error. A lot of these numbers are just flat out man-made. They're not the data that you're getting these numbers from. Like today, 1 + 1 is 2. Like, numbers don't lie. 1 + 1 was 2 30 years ago. 1 + 1 was 2 50 years ago. 1 + 1 was 2 90 years ago. 1 + 1 was 2 4,000 years ago. See how those numbers don't change? But when you start changing the numbers, at the number of belts, the number of interim champions, the number of divisions, the number of inactivity, what other numbers do you want to explore? What other numbers should we look at? So the reality is, numbers do lie. Numbers are deceiving if you don't actually break down the numbers. There's nothing wrong with breaking down the numbers. Numbers are meant to be broken down. What's up, Pablo Tight? Knockouts don't lie, he says. All right. Facts. That's the other thing. Just say facts afterwards. Numbers don't lie. Facts. And then all of a sudden, that's it. End of discussion. Oh, okay. Just think about it for a moment. Do you guys not understand? That's right. I don't understand. That Muhammad Ali could not have, it was impossible to beat, 25 or whatever it is, former world champions. Because there wasn't that many active. First of all, they didn't give away championships like hotcakes back in the day. Okay, they weren't just all walking around all over the place. Okay, they weren't just hanging around the corner like they do today. Since we're talking about numbers, okay, how about those numbers? Because we're talking about numbers, there wasn't enough of them. How the hell does one guy get credit for a record when he's every other guy in the division is a former world champion? I mean, Ali could have broken it too. And some of those guys he beat was a former world champion, I guess. You got 4 world titles today. That's basically equivalent to the number 1, number 2, number 3 contender back in the day, right? He beat plenty of those. No, but DStyle, you don't understand. Numbers don't lie. The numbers, DStyle. Guys, this isn't, honestly, this is not calculus. This is not advanced algebra even, right? This is real simple, right? It's a bullshit argument. It makes no sense. I'm trying to break down these numbers. Are you serious? Are you serious? What numbers? The number of boxing gyms in this country? Well, what numbers are we looking at? The numbers don't lie. Are you kidding me? Adrian Broner, four division champ. Numbers don't lie. Well, the numbers are actually, very, very deceiving. There's an old saying, numbers don't lie, but they hide our most important truths. If we had the same amount of divisions, same amount of titles, all right, like they did back in, let's say 50 years ago, Adrian Broner wouldn't have been a 4-division champion. He wouldn't have had a Paulie Malignaggi to beat to win a title in that division. Can anybody even name me, without looking at BoxRec, the guys that Adrian Broner beat other than Malignaggi for a world title? Can you actually do that? And if you could do that, can you honestly look at those guys and objectively tell me, yeah, totally, those dudes were world beaters? Can you actually do that? Bobby says, it's the same argument with ring counting with athletes and record sales with shitty music. I gotcha. I hear you. Ring counting. Ring counting is so retarded in fucking team sports too, especially in football, right? You know how many times I had to read that Foles beat Brady? You know how many times I had to read that? Is Foles playing, defense, or am I missing something? Quarterbacks don't play against each other, right? Brady never played Manning. They played against the other team's defense, but they never played head to head. Anyway. But Foles got a ring though, so he's better than Dan Marino ever was, right? That's the logic people put. Rings don't lie. Especially in football, where they have one freaking game. You have a bad game, you could be the best team in the league. You have a bad game, Super Bowl Sunday, you lose. That's it. Right? Haplotype, Bob Barrow told me to remind you, it's the numbers, not numbers. I got you. It's champion, not champion. Haplotype says Sherry Robinson was more than about 105 KOs. That's more than double the number of times most guys today will fight. Robinson sold out more arenas than most guys will have fights. All right? Robinson, in the grand scheme of things, does that matter? No, but it's just funny to say. But yeah, you're right. Robinson has more knockouts. And for anybody who brags about defense, defense. Let me tell you something. There is no better defense than knocking a dude smooth the fuck out, because he can't fucking hit you while he's knocked out. All right? So what defense is better, right? Let's say you get a defensive wizard. From rounds 1 through 12, he only gets hit 10% of the time, right? You would say, oh, that's unbelievable numbers. That's if you believe the numbers, but let's say you do. So from rounds, every round at an average of 10% of the time, right? Or the guy that gets a third round knockout. Who had better defense from rounds 4 to 12? The guy that got hit 10% of the time, or the guy that knocked the other dude smooth the fuck out so he didn't have to fight him for the remainder of those rounds? But you want to talk about numbers. Good luck with that. All right? Anyway. Prince White Charming, you should sell shirts that say, but DStyle, you don't understand. Well, the channel has to become bigger first. I should definitely trademark. I should trademark a lot of shit I say, right? But it's all good. It's all good in the neighborhood. Boxing historian, 15 years, 15 years, you don't understand these stuff. I don't understand. I don't. There's no understanding, right? You know why I do that, right? Because I cannot tell you how many times I heard videos of people being fanboys, and not just Mayweather fanboys. This is many fanboys, right? Saying things like, "Yeah, but what these guys don't understand is," and they would start like saying stupid shit, right? So when I would do my video, I would just, I like to picture what people are going to say to me, okay? And it's a good way to communicate with people, right? If you ever come solo, right? If you ever do solo videos on Hangouts like I do, you have to start thinking about what some people are going to say, right? Like if I say this, they're going to come back with what? With this, right? So you got to know what to say in return, right? I can't help myself. So what I do, I do the D-style, I guess the D-style voice, but D-style, you don't understand. Because I know someone's watching, and they're going to say, "Oh, but what D-style doesn't understand is," but I see, I'll do it for them, right? That's a good T-shirt. Another would be fine. If you know what you're talking about, then you know. All right, the boxing historian. I'm sorry, I got to make fun of these Floyd Mayweather clowns. Well, I don't know. I don't know. It's if he keeps making claims that he's the best ever, of course I'm going to talk about him. It's just the way it is, right? It's just the way it is. You don't want me to bring up his fragile hands, then don't bring him up. Well, you can bring him up, but don't compare him to the greats. Or actually, let me take that back. You can compare him all you want, but don't tell me that without question he's the best ever. Because of course I'm going to contend that. Okay, of course I'm going to disagree with that. Of course I am. But numbers don't lie. Numbers don't lie, right? Apparently. But we don't talk about certain numbers. We only talk about the numbers that we're looking at. We're not going to dive into those numbers. We're going to ignore all other numbers. That's not the way it works. Now you can't say 1 + 1 is 2, but we can't go into other stuff like division and multiplication. Well, why not? Because 1 + 1 is 2. Well, why not? Because 1 + 1 is 2. Well, why can't we go to multiplication? Because it's inconvenient to me. It doesn't work that way. Okay, if we're going to talk about numbers, then we're going to talk about all the numbers. The whole enchilada, right? And I went over those numbers already. 26 world champions. 26 world champions. They're right. The numbers don't lie. Boy, does that show us how watered down everything is, doesn't it? That there are that many world champions. It's crazy. It is amazing. Numbers don't lie. All right. Anyway, this is D-Style, guys. I'm going to wrap this up. I'm out.